All right, so we live. All right, this is Siobhan Ras TV. Okay, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Turn your post notification bell on so each time I upload a video like this, you'll get it right on your phone. And as usual, every Sunday we will be going live from this channel. All right, we'll be talking about various topic and subjects. All right, so this week, as you could see, the topic we're going to be talking about is how time change. All right, times change a lot. Even this time is changed right now because usually it's 6 o'clock right now. It used to be bright outside, right? Now it's 6 o'clock. It seems like it's 11 o'clock at night. It's dark. All right, so we're just gonna go into this topic, but remember again, every Sunday we go live. All right, so join me here every Sunday. We go live on this channel, Shavu and Rest TV. All right. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, turn your post notification bell on so each time I upload a video like this, you will get it right there on your phone. So basically, I did a video Thursday and things you need to know Thursday, right? And I decided I'm gonna follow up and that video. All right. So if you missed that video, that things we need to know Thursday, you could go back and watch it. All right. So it's basically a continuation from there. So and that video, I was talking about how our elders, our mom, our grandparents, they used to do a lot of stuff, things that we're not doing right now, right? So this is basically what exactly I'm continuing from on this video right here. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna go at is how many miles, right? They will have to walk just to get some drinking water, right? And it's sad to say that it is true, right? Our parents, our grandparents, they used to walk miles on top of miles just to have a little drinking water, right? And just to have fresh water for they to take a shower, to cook, to quench their thirst, right? So it used to be a journey that they have to take. They used to have to walk miles on top of miles, right? So when as we growing up as kids and we heard they talking about these stuff, some of us been through it so we understand, and some of us like what? This what y'all used to do? And most of us we take it for a joke. We say, "Oh, I'm glad I'm not living in that time." But things evolve and time change, right? So we just have to learn from it, right? We have to understand what they are talking about, right? For example, if we, all right, if our grandparents used to walk miles to go get just some drinking water, right? They would give you a story like this. After we go to school, after we came back from school, we have to leave school and come back early. And remember, they walked to school anyway. They came back early from school. As soon as school over, they will come back home. They will maybe change their school clothes and maybe eat some food and head back to the river, head back to wherever they get their drinking water from, right? And they will do several trips just to get some water to have at the house, right? They will tell us things like these things that they've been through, and those kind of situations are serious, right? And in their mind, if we haven't doing things like that, basically we grew up like in a good time, right? In a time that water is running out of in our house, and we don't have to actually do that. But actually, I would say this: it is hard, right? Even if you haven't been through it, or you just stop for a little bit and think about it, it was tough, right? So imagine you have to go to school, you leave school, you come home, change your school clothes, and immediately head out to the river, head out to wherever you get drinking water from. And then you have to do several trips, all right? Several trips back and forth just to have drinking water in your home, all right? And then it's like a cycle keep on going on and on and on unless the rainfall. Now, if you have rain, then you don't have to do it. But if it doesn't rain, then you have to do it. Okay. So these are the things that separate us from our grandparents. The things that they used to do, things like this, right? They used to go. They basically grew up in a hostile situation, right? A time that it is serious. Like they have contributed a lot of sacrifice, right, for us to be here today to have whatever we have because it's not easy. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna talk about is how they how they get disciplined, right? Like their way of getting disciplined back in those times is way different from how we got disciplined. Okay. And when I talk about discipline, I'm not talking about go inside a room and lock that room and you will never get out for 3 4 hours, right? Nothing like that. No TV, no video game. If it was that, that is not even discipline compared to what they go through, right? When they talk about discipline, they talk about real discipline. Okay. For example, they did something, right? The whole community basically is our parents. When you're living in certain community, growing up, everybody's your mom, everybody's your dad. So basically, when I mean like that, they will watch you, right? And if they caught you or they see you do something wrong, they will tell you not to do it. And also, if they think they have to use excessive force, they will go ahead and get their belt and beat you also, right? And on top of that beating, they will beat you for doing the wrong thing. I'm talking about just a regular person in your community. And by the time you get home, you have an next two beating to get one from your dad, one from your mom, right? These are what they used to be. They used to call discipline, right? Like if you just disrespect an elderly person in that community, right? Prepare when you go home for you to be disciplined, right? And they will pull up, they will get their belt, they will get stick, they will get anything they could reach, right, to discipline you. And this is what it used to be in their time, all right? So when we talk about disciplined kids here, you can't do it no more, right? This is why you see kids growing up doing whatever they want to do and they have no control because they are not correctly disciplined, okay? So this is how you can separate those time from our time, right? If you try things like that right now, you end up in jail, right? For abuse and a lot of other charges on top of that, right? If you're trying to discipline your kids in that way or in that manner, it is serious, right? So you could just if all right, let's say you get up in the morning and your mom or your dad say, okay, go ahead and sweep up the yard, right? Not inside but outside. And you go ahead and you start sweeping up and you didn't do it right. You didn't do it to their liking. You could get a beating for that. Like these are the examples that I'm talking about. And their time when it comes to discipline, this is what you call discipline. All right. So you make sure you do everything the right way because when they pull out their belt and start to whoop you, it is something serious that even 2 3 4 days down the line you still remember and you're still thinking about it, right? So you definitely don't want to get caught in that situation. So you make sure you do whatever they tell you to do, right? So these are what they used to call discipline. Now, discipline here is like is nothing serious, right? It's really not serious. So the next thing I'm gonna talk about is how our parents, our grandparents, they used to walk miles, right? When I say miles, they used to walk several miles just to get to school, right? And when you get to school, sometimes by the time you get to school, they're so sweat. It's like they never had to take a shower in the beginning, right? Just that's the distance they have to walk just to get to school, just to get some education, just to acquire some knowledge. And it is it is so serious to have a life like that or to live like that, right? So they used to walk miles on top of miles just to get to school, all right? And when you get to school also, the discipline does not stop in your house. The discipline also happen in school. Okay, back in those time when they used to have this thing called parents teachers meeting, right? And whenever time your parents would go to the school to represent you, or to ask the teacher, how are you, how is your grades, how is your attitude, or parents teachers meeting, right? They still probably do it right now. And you will see the your parents actually tell your teacher like if you do something wrong to whoop you, right? So these are the things that the difference, right, between how they grew up from when we are growing up. Okay, so you in school, you were thinking like, all right, you would escape a little bit of that discipline at home. It is the same thing at school, right? So you walk miles on top of miles just to get to school, to learn something, to be, to have a better life, to learn how to read, not to be turned out to something that, not good. So you go to school, you walk several miles to go to school. On top of that, anything you do at school, you get the same discipline at school as if when you're at home. Okay? So when our parents they've been through so much stuff, our grandparents they've been through so much stuff that we not have imagined, all right, going through. And they will tell you this kind of stuff. And if you just speak with them, they will tell you, and you won't believe. All right, it's actually more serious than how we're looking at it. All right, because your teacher, let's say your teacher tell you to read this thing in the class, stand up and read, and you stand up and you actually can't read what they ask you to read. You will get a discipline for that, right? They will either put you in a corner of the classroom and they will actually discipline you like that. They will beat you. They will whoop you with belt, right? Back in the days in Jamaica and in the Caribbean also, whosoever go to school in those time, they will remember. They will tell you, right? Their teacher used to beat them with belt. I'm not talking about your mom or your dad or your family member. I'm talking about your teacher that you go to school to learn from, right? They will actually beat you with belt, right? And if they close with your parents, they will also tell your parents that look, he never did this in school, he never did that, and you also getting that next whooping when you go home with belt, with anything your parents could get their hands on at the time. So these are the things that is so different. Like it's a different life that they're living other than what we are living in, right? So sometimes when you see your parents be so harsh with you, and then they say, okay, you grew up in a nice time, like when I was growing up I couldn't do this, when I was growing up I couldn't do that, right? It is serious. Like they are telling you something that they can't forget, because these things just stay inside of their mind, right? I mean, they telling me about it and it stay inside of my mind. Imagine if I've been through half those stuff, right? And sometimes those stuff that they've been through, it make them, it is better, it's better, the words I'm looking for, it make them more stronger. Okay. And in our time, we looking at these things as abuse. Okay. Sometime I would say this, like, if black kids or any kids whatsoever in particular was growing up in that way, maybe some of us will be better, right? Maybe some of us won't do certain things that we are doing today. All right. And sometime again, they take it too far. All right. Some things that I think sometimes, like the things that they used to do to our parents, they go too way too far, because they know they have the age, and they're thinking if you are younger you should respect the elder in any form or anything whatsoever. So a lot of time you will see these people, they will take it too far. Right, right. If you, yeah, you will get disciplined in school. A lot of us, even if you haven't speak to your parents about it, you could ask them about it. They will tell you they will get disciplined, detrimental discipline. Like you go home, you have cuts and bruises on you from your teacher, right? Not even your parents. So you will see these scars all over you, and that's from your teacher, from not learning or from not doing what they tell you to do in school. All right, so they've been through a lot of stuff, right? They go through a lot, and sometimes we have to listen, we have to take notes, right? I always say this: it's good to listen to the elders, as long as these elders that you are listening to is someone with common sense, right? So we have to know these stuff, and it was a cycle, right? These things that keep happening, it is a cycle that come down from our slave masters, right? From our colonial masters. They enforce these kind of things in school, right? They enforce these kind of things in our culture, right? Because we never have to discipline our kids like that, right? It's This thing is just a hand down, what you would say a hand down from our slave master, from what they came to the islands and they did to us, right? They take us from Africa and they will do this thing to us. So whenever time they think that, all right, let's say slavery is over, these are the hand downs that we continue, okay, to force on ourselves. And luckily now we doesn't have to go through those kind of stuff. All right. And the last thing I will be talking about is how it was mandatory for you to go to church, right? You you would have to go to church either on a Saturday or a Sunday. These things were mandatory in a lot of us home growing up. You have no choice. You can't say you don't feel like go. You cannot say you're sick. It is mandatory, okay, for them to go to church. And even if you like it or not, it was something that you have to do, okay? So basically, it was forced upon us, all right, to go to church, whether you want to go or not, all right? You have to get it in your head. You have to be programmed like that, like every Saturday or every Sunday, it's time for you to go to church. So these are the things that used to happen to our parents, to our grandparents, to our great grandparents, right? These were things. They didn't have a choice but to do it. All right. So this why we have this stigma going around now. We're thinking because we grew up doing something, which means it is the right thing for us, right? We never stop to do a research to find out where this thing coming from. How do we get to the point of we mandatory going to church? All right. We never trying to stop to ask ourselves certain things. We just thinking, all right, we get up on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning and we go to church to praise God, right? And we're not even looking at it like, okay, the God we praising not even look like us, right? And it's a lot of things that we haven't questioned, because the thing with religion is religion tend to clouded your mind, right? So you can't think straight when you are religious. Religious, I always say this, religion is the worst thing for black people, okay? Religion never bring people together. Religion always separate us as a race, as a people, and as a unit, right? So these things was mandatory for us growing up, for our people growing up, all right, and they have to do these things, or else you already know what gonna come, discipline, right? And discipline come with whipping, right? You get beaten with belt, you get beaten with stick, with even rocks, stones, anything your parents could get their hands on, because they're thinking you are disobeying God, and they're thinking you are unruly. They're thinking that if you are doing something that have not that religious belief, they would look at you and say they would speak down on you, right? And they will tell you a lot of stuff like you're gonna get punished, you're gonna get this, you are cursed, you are, they will say a lot of things, okay? And all these things are coming down from our colonial masters, our slave master, they embedded these things in our ancestors and keep on going on and on and on till our generation come along and stop this cycle, right? And these are the things that we have to know, and these are the difference between how our people was growing up in from what we are doing. Okay, now we are in this moment, in this time, we move forward, we have a choice, right? And if today we go to school, there is no teacher can take out any belt and say they're going to beat you, because your parents will go down there into that school, and that teacher will have a hard time going back to that school if they try that today, right? And your parents can't discipline you the way how their parents was disciplining them, right? These things are change. You won't get up and you do something wrong, and then when you come home you're gonna get a belt, you're gonna get a whipping. These things are change, all right? Actually, these things are changed somewhere in the world, not everywhere. Okay, let me rephrase that, because actually right now as I speak, all right, in 2020, people still going through these things that I'm talking about. Okay, it's just not everywhere again, but it still happen. All right, so things involve time change. We actually doesn't have to walk miles anymore to go to school. And like I say, on the other hand, some of us still have to walk miles to get to school still. Okay, it's just how things evolve and how things change and what happened in the community you grew up in. All right, how things get to where it is. All right, so it's not mandatory again for us to get to go to church, right? It is not mandatory again for us to just grow up in a religion and just believe in it. All right, now we have a choice. So our foreparents, our grandparents, they have no choice, because what they was told, that's what they did. All right, they didn't have any computer, they didn't have any internet, they didn't have any books to accomplish any knowledge of anything else than what they was told. All right, so we have the chance, we can make a difference. All right, so we don't have to keep on we don't have to keep on repeating the madness that they had suffered through. Okay, now we have choice, and it's up to us to do the right thing. It's up to us to make the right choices. Okay, and it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things they used to go through that we are not participating in, because how times evolve, we escape from these things. Okay, and it is a good thing. It is a good thing, and in some way it is a bad thing, because we are not under certain rules or regulation, we tend to do things that we wasn't normally supposed to be doing. Okay, and that's just how life is. It evolve, it change, and we just have to live with it. All right, so this is how we do it, right? Every Sunday we go live. I think next Sunday I will be changing the time from 6 to 5 p.m., because what I said earlier, now at 6 it definitely become night, and I always like to do my live in the daylight, in the daytime, right? So beginning from next Sunday, I will be going live at 5 p.m. All right, so don't forget to like, okay, share this video, drop a comment, let me know what you think. All right, and this was Chavo and Ras TV, and I will see you in the next video.